Hey, what's up? This is a demo of the well, it's one half of the Empress Regnant staff from SP Sabers and Props. I just installed one half today, and I think that's probably all I'm gonna do, um, and then just demo it. Right? It's the same thing but double if you want the staff, and I'll probably end up doing that one day, but not today. And then this is also kind of an explanation for the chassis that I made because I don't think anybody has a chassis for sale yet. So I'm just kind of explaining my build into this. And yeah, this installed a Proffie V2. I used a stock V2 Eco Pixel in here because I had some laying around. I did weather this guy myself, although Sean has sent out a bunch that he weathered. I just chose to do this myself because I like doing it. It's fun for me. It's not screen accurate by any means, but at least I could say I did it. So yeah, weathered the saber and then did some heat bluing around the emitter, if you can see that. This one came out pretty good. I'm having some problems with the other one, so I may just have to sand this down and make it match the other one. But it's a tricky thing to heat blue this right, but this one came out really nice. It's a 2-button setup, so the activation is up here. The auxiliary button is down here. And then sound venting is through this pillbox area right here. So what you want to do is just unscrew this handle. And then that comes right off. It's a tight fit, but it's meant to be like that on purpose. I made this super tight actually because this is a staff. When you lock these handles in and you have them on the coupler, a lot of people are going to go swinging it and you know, clipping it out. So I want it to be able to withstand some impact. And then here's the chassis. So it's running a 24mm Smuggler's Outpost speaker here, and that sits flush right in there with the chassis. It says Empress Regnant over here in the Sith text, and then it does say Solo Sabers in the Sith text over here. And of course there's nothing here. This butts up to the end of the pommel or the coupler, whichever one you have in. It's the same distance, so that butts up against it right there. You can get to your board and SD card from here, so you do not have to take this chassis out at all. You can take your SD card out from here. And originally when I had posted a chassis, it was this guy, and I changed that. So I mean, on all the stuff that you can see, it's the same, but I came back and put this neck on it, and it's also a PCB holder. So, you know, it's almost the same, but you can see that added neck there, and then there's a slot in here so that you can get your switch wires in, because your switch wires are one of the last things you're going to want to do. You got to slide this in just a little bit. You take this and you slide this in past that switch right here, and then you got to snake your switch wires back to your board and wire everything up. And then the chassis retention, there's 2 chassis retention screws. You got a grub screw right here and another one right here. I wanted to hurry up and install one of these because I don't like selling chassis before I install them. Actually, it's something I refuse to do. So I wanted to install it first, so I knew it was installable. I knew how to do it in case somebody had questions, and then I could tweak it a little bit. So yeah, this was okay, but it really needed that stem on it to hold the PCB, and then also for something for the chassis retention screws to lock onto, which is something I didn't think about when I initially drew this. So yeah, old guy. We'll throw a battery in. There's only a single wire going down this, which you could put some you know, piece of shrink tube on there if you want to and hide that. I chose not to because this is mine, and I don't care. This sounds super loud for a 24mm. And this locks in all the way. It's got motion controls. It's a blade plug lighting up. A little bit of shine through. Auxiliary back here. Twist off. Or we could use activation up here. Super solid saber. I'm going to take this blade plug out. These blade plugs are really cool. They came with the saber, but the chassis does not interfere with the blade plug. So actually, you know, I had that blade plug sitting flush. It's flush right now. I could push it in about that much further if I wanted to. And it's just an acrylic piece, and it's got a very cool metal blade plug right here. And then that's what the inside looks like. So that neck for the PCB holder comes up, and it comes up just far enough to where the pins on your PCB will touch your blade, but the actual PCB and the neck and everything is sitting down below, so the blade never touches that. Similar to what I do with the TFU2 hilt from Corbanth. So I'm just going to throw a test blade in here. It's got 2 blade retention screws. I'm just going to use one. So you've got one right there, and then another one on the opposite side. We'll go to the next sound font. Play the soundtrack. Yeah, this is just a really cool saber, man. It's cool in the staff configuration, and then as a single saber, it's a you know, as a standalone saber, it's really cool too. And we'll turn that off. Let's hit the power. When using finding switches, I use these guys right here. These guys right here. These are perfect for both the activation and the auxiliary. They sit right under these greeblies. And I threw Exegol on here.
What could you give me? Everything.
Just like that. Take the blade out. One thing I did, because the speaker's sitting right next to the board, is I bumped up the clash sensitivity to 3.8, and I haven't had any false clashes or any problems with that. So a 3.8 should do it. I was at a 3.5, and that was too it was too low. Come up from the positive side and pop it out with your finger, and yeah, that's the chassis. It's just a nice, easy to install Ego chassis, you know, and it works. So what you want to do is you'll install everything. You'll slide this in just past where this greebly is for your switch, because I have that channel in the chassis right there, that channel that runs all the way up just like that. That's for your switch wires. So run that inside to the channels just past where your front switch is. Snake your wires back, wire up your board, snap it down, and then put it in place. Lock it down with those grub screws. And yeah, that's basically it. That is my Empress Regnant by SP Sabers and Props. Thanks.